Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out some new gear from modern Dayfarer. Here I have their 18-liter backpack and a new sling bag. And in this video I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to test these over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded them out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how they compare to some of the other similar items that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting up with the overall aesthetic, the appearance here is going to feel very similar to the larger version of the Dayfarer backpack. So it has a modern, techie vibe that feels pretty stylish. It's something that I would be comfortable taking into an office setting, but that's also going to work well for your day-to-day or traveling. As far as the materials, this feels very solidly built. The exterior has this rugged feeling nylon, which has held up well on other versions of the Dayfarer backpack that I've used, and it's also going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance. And then beyond that, you have some really solid components all throughout as far as the buckles, the straps, and of course some well-protected YKK zippers. Continuing along the outside of the bag, I was happy to see that you still have an external water bottle pocket that's going to be able to handle something like my 20-ounce water bottle. So this slides in here pretty comfortably. There's a good amount of elasticity, which you can see here. The compartment is a little on the shallower side, but it still felt like my bottle was in there pretty securely. And then when you pull it out, the elasticity helps keep the pocket closer to the bag to maintain a cleaner look. On this side, you also have the modern Dayfarer logo, along with a nice carrying handle here, which has this seatbelt-like material. And you have a similar style handle at the top. I like that this gives you plenty of distance to be able to easily grab this, so good implementation there. Moving into the capacity, this comes in at about 18 liters, which is a really great daily carry size. It's a little smaller than what I normally like to use, but it's still able to handle the items that I normally like to carry with me, and it's gonna be great for anyone who's looking for a bag that's not quite as large, while still providing a lot of versatility. And I like that even when this is a little bit more packed out, it never feels overwhelmingly bulky. It still maintains a pretty slim and streamlined silhouette, which made it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, commuting, and also carrying onto pretty much any domestic or international airline. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. You have a nice amount of padding here on the straps. It feels pretty robust, and on the inside you have this nice kind of soft material. It's not necessarily a breathable mesh, but it has still felt nice throughout the day. The straps also have a pretty good width for the size of bag that this is, and you have an adjustable sternum strap with a magnetic buckle, so it's easy to release. And at the bottom, you do have some attachment points to add a waist belt that would be sold separately from the bag, it looks like here. And then as far as the back panel, this has also felt quite comfortable. You have a nice amount of padding that's well distributed. It also has that same kind of soft material that we saw on the straps. And then there's a good bit of elevation here to provide you airflow while you're walking around throughout the day. And the last thing I'll call out here is that you also have a luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on your suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, on the front you have a zippered quick access pocket. It has this vertical opening here, so if you swing the bag around, you'll be able to access it without taking it all the way off. And this offers a nice amount of space. It's a little bit of a taller compartment, so I'm currently using this to store my iPad mini. Fits in there comfortably, but it could also be great for other tech accessories, smaller pouches. No internal organization here, but still nice to have something of this size that you can access quickly. And then on the side, you have another zippered quick access pocket. I like that the zipper here is almost a little hidden. You can see that this flap comes over, and this is gonna offer some internal organization in addition to a pretty good amount of space. So at the moment, I'm using this to store my sunglasses, and that's able to fit in there comfortably even with their case. And on the inside, you also have a little lanyard with a clip that's gonna be a good spot for your keys. And then you have a couple of slip pockets here. And so at the moment, I'm using one of them to store my AirPods. And then on the bottom, you have another one, which I'm currently using to store a cable to charge my tablet and my phone. I'm not sure if you can get a good look at those here on the inside, but they do offer a nice amount of elasticity. And even if you don't want to use the compartment and you just want to toss a pouch or something in here, I like the amount of space that's been provided. And then on the back, you have a dedicated laptop compartment, which makes it easy to get to your device when you need to. I like that this has a well-protected zipper, and then this is going to be able to handle a 15-inch laptop. Currently I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see that there's some leftover space here at the top. This is also going to offer a nice amount of padding, and it is pulled up off the bottom of the ground, so when you drop your laptop in, doesn't feel like it's making contact. So pulling my device out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. This does come up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to slide in there comfortably. And with the amount of padding that's offered here and the fact that this is pulled up off the bottom of the ground, it feels like my device is going to be well protected while I'm on the go. Before moving into the main compartment, one of the other differences between this and the larger version of the bag that I've used is that there's no shoe compartment on the bottom. That is something that I really liked on the previous edition that I tried out, is that dedicated space to keep your shoes or dirty clothes separate from the items in the main area. Now, as this is a smaller bag, it's understandable to have made it a little bit more streamlined, and that might be trickier to implement, but it's just something that you want to keep in mind if that's something that you liked on the larger version. And then as far as accessing the main area, you have one of these fidlock style buckles here, which I'm always a fan of. They feel super secure. They always lock into place without any issues. You can open it very quickly. I like that it's a one-handed operation and that there's only one strap, so it's easy to get into the main compartment when you need to. And then you do have the ability to adjust this down if you're not carrying quite as much stuff, which is really helpful because with this style of bag, you always want to make sure that the sides are tucked in so that the water doesn't get on the inside. And so really like this system here. And then you have these zippers that will allow you to open this all the way if you want to. You can just use this as a top loading bag if you just want to grab something quickly while it's next to you, or if you're on a flight or something like that. But I do love that you have full visibility into this main area if you want to open this up. And then nice open space here, and you have a light lining to provide you some good visibility. And at the moment I have kind of my typical daily loadout. So I have my headphones, a couple of pouches, one from Evergoods, from Air, and then I have the Civic Access pouch, 2 liters. And on the back, you have a slip pocket here to provide you with some separation if you want to store a notebook, a tablet, or other, clothing items. With the layout that's offered here, even though this is a little bit smaller, I think it'll still work for minimal travel. If you want to toss in a packing cube and a toiletry bag, you can use this for a weekend trip. And then on the lid, you have a couple of additional organizational options, one zippered pocket at the bottom. I don't usually use these quite as much because I have all my pouches here at the bottom, but it's good that you have this space for smaller items. And then you have a zippered mesh compartment as well for tech and EDC accessories. I like the mesh that's been used here, and also since this is close to the top, this is one of the compartments that I will access more regularly. At the moment, I'm just using this to store a retractable USB-C cable as well as my suction cup mount for my phone. And so still a really versatile amount of space and layout in this main area. I like that even though it's a more compact bag, it hasn't lost a lot of the functionality that's made the previous version so useful. And so if you're looking for a stylish tech bag that's gonna offer a great build quality and a nice layout, then this is gonna be a really cool option to take a look at. Taking a look at the Sling, this has a similar design to the backpack, so it's got kind of a modern, sleek aesthetic, pretty similar materials as well. So it's got this durable feeling kind of nylon here on the exterior. And then you have nice feeling components as far as the strap. Plenty of adjustability here, so you can, really adjust it to be worn however is going to be most comfortable for you. On the back, no sort of breathability necessarily, but I think that that's fine for a Sling of this size. You have good reinforcement here on the attachment points, and then really nice fidlock buckle, similar again to the one that we saw on the backpack. So this is super secure, quickly releases. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall off or anything like that. I've always had great experiences with these buckles. And then as far as the sizing, I think that this is a good kind of minimal sling bag size. It's able to hold some of those items that don't fit in my pocket, but then I don't need a full-fledged backpack or larger sling bag for. And then as far as the layout, it's just got the one primary compartment. This is secured with magnets. And so this is an interesting system. You have a couple of different levels here. So if you're not carrying as much, you can collapse it down a little bit more. And this was able to hold the items that I need to comfortably. I do think that this system allows the flap to open quickly, but almost a little too quickly for what I personally like. So I would be worried about this accidentally opening up on me or being a little easy to access if I'm wearing it on my back. So that's something you'll have to keep in mind, but the magnets themselves work pretty well. And then another thing that you want to keep in mind is that although the materials are weather resistant, you'll want to make sure that these sides are, properly tucked in, especially if you're loading this out a little bit more to prevent water from getting inside of this main area. And so as far as the layout, you have kind of one primary compartment here with a nice amount of capacity. I was able to store my sunglasses. I tossed in a headlamp, a portable battery. So again, the types of things that I wouldn't have in my pocket necessarily. And then you have this nice lining on the inside, good contrast. You have a little lanyard with a clip for your keys, multi-tool, and then a nice organizational layout here. You have a zippered pocket on the front. I'm currently using that to store my scissors and an air tag. And then on the back, you have some slip pockets. So, you know, this has a nice kind of elastic material in one of them. I currently have my AirPods, and then in the other, I have a retractable USB-C cable. And on the back, you have a padded sleeve that's going to be a great spot for, you know, smaller devices. Here I have an iPad mini. I was excited to see that this was able to fit even with its case, and so I think anything larger than that might start to make it a little difficult for this to close, but there is some space here. This was able to fit comfortably. Could also handle maybe a Kindle or some of the smaller handheld gaming devices, and I like that this is a little bit thicker, so it does feel like it offers some protection. And yeah, so pretty minimal but useful layout here. You know, it might have been nice to have maybe an external quick access pocket or maybe a zippered pocket on the back. That's always a nice thing to have on a Sling for something that's a little bit more sensitive. But in general, I think that this is a useful layout and size for a minimal Sling. And if you're looking for something that's got a sleek style, this is gonna be a cool option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, you can currently purchase these on Modern Dayfarer's site. I'll include links in the description below to the dedicated product pages if you want to learn more or pick one of these up. And so as I was testing these out, the first company they made me think of is Air. Air offers a variety of sleek backpacks and sling bags, particularly their City Pack 2, which comes in at around 16 liters. So like this one, it's a little bit more compact. It's going to offer a great organizational layout, solid build quality, comfortable harness system, water bottle pocket, luggage pass-through, so a lot of the same benefits as this one here. They also have their City Sling collection, which offers a great layout, very kind of stylish exterior, and you know, it just feels ruggedly built. It's offered in a couple of different fabrics, and so if you're looking for something like these Modern Dayfarer items that are going to offer just a little bit of a different layout, and there's going to be some great options to consider. The next company this made me think of is Bellroy. They also have a great selection of backpacks and slings. I particularly like their Transit Work Pack collection, very stylish, minimal. They also have the Transit Work Pack Pro, the Venture line, and they also have the Venture slings. Those are some of my favorite sling bags in general. I really like their more subdued aesthetic. They have a versatile layout. They offer them in a couple of different sizes. I really like the color combinations, and so if you're looking for, you know, modern, sleek gear that's gonna have a more subdued appearance and just a little bit of a different layout, those are gonna be some great options to keep in mind. And then the last company that I'll mention here is Peak Design. They also have some really sleek bags and slings. A lot of their gear is meant to work well with camera accessories, and so they have their everyday backpack, which is a top loader, kind of like this one here. You can also access it from the sides. On the inside, it has adjustable dividers that will allow you to store your camera gear, or it can work great as a tech bag. It has a laptop compartment, luggage pass-through, water bottle pockets, and then they also have a variety of sling bags in a couple of different sizes and styles. They have a great travel lineup, and so in general, if you're looking for gear that's going to be stylish with a little bit of a futuristic vibe and a lot of flexibility, then those are going to be some great options to take a look at. With that being said, this new backpack and sling from Modern Dayfarer hold up pretty well against all those options. I've always had great experiences with Modern Dayfarer's bags, and if you're looking for gear that's going to be stylish, durable, and functional, these are going to be some cool options to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the new backpack and sling bag from Modern Dayfarer and how they compare to some of the other popular tech and EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company for sending the items for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.